we have 55 new players on this team. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You know how many we had last year? We had 49. That's over 100 new players in 2 years. Now, I don't know how many of those 49 are still on the team or not.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, that's what the way – I mean, I know it's kind of the new football, but it doesn't have to be the new football. No, you don't have to be building it always with new players. And I think we thought that because Florida had some older players this year, they would do better. But and again, I'm like you. I believe you should let Billy run this out for a while. I mean, I'm not saying the whole season. I'm just saying let it run out for a while. I mean, who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they go and beat Mississippi State. Maybe they go and beat UCF. Maybe they beat Kentucky at home. Now you're sitting there and you go, okay, this will be different.
Heck yeah.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Hope you will enjoy the show today. I know a lot of people will listen or watch, but not for the right reasons, because they just want to hear how I'm going to tear people apart. Well, maybe that is the right reason. It's okay with me. Don't forget, Coach Spurrier will be on. This will be interesting. Robbie Andreu will be on, which will be more interesting considering some of the tweets I got from him, or texts I got from him during the game. And look, we'll get to it in a minute. Okay, on Thursday, Andy Staples is going to join us. That'll be fun to talk to him because I'm sure he's got a lot to say about it. Former Gator player, played on the Spurrier's team, and obviously works for On3 now. All right, let's get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting five. It is brought to you by the Gainesville Quarterback Club. I mentioned it last week. Caleb Sturgis is the speaker tomorrow night, Tuesday night. If you want to join, very simple to join. You can just go there and join at the Best Western over on off 39th. You know where it is. And Caleb will be great. I think Dan Mullen's next week too. Or next week, I think maybe there's nobody because it's an open date, and then the following week is Dan Mullen. But I'll let you know for sure on Thursday's show. But can't wait to hear what Caleb has to say, and I've talked about him before, one of my favorite people. All right, let's get to number one on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting five. And look, it is very Thanos-like. It feels inevitable. And that is, for those of you who have never watched any of the Avengers movies, Thanos, that was his saying, I am inevitable. And it feels inevitable with Coach Napier now. I will say this. There is a path to him surviving this. It starts Saturday at Starkville against a team that just got steamrolled by Toledo. If you remember, though, back in 2004, Florida went out to Mississippi State. Mississippi State had lost to Maine earlier in the year, and they got steamrolled by Mississippi State. Ron Zook was fired the next day. Actually, he was fired that day because I'll never forget this. Jeremy was on the phone, and I knew he was on the phone with Bernie Matchin, and then he asked me some questions afterwards, just wanting to get my vibe on it as an alum and as somebody who covered the team for a long time. And I went, oh, he's done. This thing is over. And so I wrote it. I wrote that, not that part of it, but I wrote that it was, this is the end. It feels like it's the end now, but I don't think it is. I think what he's got to do is find a way to get some wins. Look, your record, Billy Napier, you know what it is 9-16 against Division I schools, FBS, whatever you want to call it. Good schools. You're 9-16. It's not good. It's just not good. This was supposed to be the year you turned it around. It hasn't been so far. Instead, you've had two miserable performances. I am not going to say this guy should be fired. And I believe strongly that it's hard to do that anyway because I'm telling you to fire hundreds of people, not just Billy Napier. He'll be fine. $26 million in the bank, baby. But you're firing hundreds of people. All the head assistant coaches are on 2-year deals. You have to pay them. All the assistants are on deals. You're going to have to pay them. There are so many people. I mean, all these analysts. You're going to have to pay a lot of these people. I don't know how many buyouts they have and how many they don't have, but it's going to cost a lot. And if you get rid of the athletic director, which a lot of people feel they should, I'm not one of them personally, and I'll give you my answer about that in a minute. But if you get rid of the athletic director, I'm sure there's a buyout there too. Scott Strickland's way too savvy not to have some kind of buyout. So you add it all up and you just pile it up, and it's a big pile of doo-doo that you're going to have to pay, and then try to find money for NIL. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying everybody has to realize, because it's not your money. Now, that said, you're probably saying, yeah, it is kind of my money because I'm the guy who's giving them $3,000 a year for to be able to buy expensive tickets for crappy performances. It's in a bad place right now. Let's just face it. This is I thought Miami was the low point, not of Billy Napier's career, not of, say, post Urban Meyer. I thought it was the low point in Florida football history. This may be lower. It's bad. And it's got to get better quickly, and it's got to get better, and it can't be the same old stuff, which we talked about 2 weeks ago. Coach Spurrier was in here and said it, and they're still doing the same old stuff and running the ball on first down and blah, blah, blah. Playing no defense. I don't understand how the University of Florida decided in 2020 we'll never play defense again. We've decided we're done with it. We're just going to play offense. We're going to play a little offense and we'll punt. Very, 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 very frustrating. I think the defensive part of it too, the thing that made you the most sick, was Crawshaw kicks a great kick. They down it at the 1 yard line. They went 99 yards without. Now they completed one pass. Somebody said I think it was Pat Forty wrote this, without completing a pass. They did complete one, which was when we had that penalty for tackling, illegal tackling. But that had to count still as a positive gain, and then you added on the 15th. So I think they completed one. Either way, nobody should be able to go take the ball at the 1 yard line and run 99 yards down your throat. They just haven't been able to get it done on the defensive line. Whether it's recruiting, whether it's transfer portal, whether it's weight room, whatever it is, the defensive line stinks again. It's been bad for a while, and it's bad again this year. Gosh, I don't even know if I want to go to number 2. Let's go to number 2, which is the old saying, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. Sure looked true on Saturday. Lagway was not good. Mertz was okay, but not great. The snaps, Mertz had 31, Lagway had 28. So they basically broke them even. But here's the bottom line. Just let Graham take it over, okay? Let Graham be the quarterback. If you have to bring in Lagway, you will. You've seen in the 2 games he's played against Power 5 teams, he looks a little lost. He's playing against Samford. Nobody's rushing him. He's really good. He's a talented kid. Don't screw him up. And you've still got him if you have to go to him. But right now, Graham Mertz is your best chance to win in Starkville on Saturday. That's what I would do. Stop with this whole thing. I get why you had to, because Mertz was coming off the concussion. I have no problem with their plan going into the game. Well, I have a lot of problem with their plan, but that should be a one-timer, and that's it. Now Mertz is a quarterback, Lagway's a backup. The kid from Yale's a third-teamer. All right, let's get to number 3 on the Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5. I read a really good column by my friend Jesse Simonton. He's from On3. I think Jesse went school here, but he might not have. But I do know that I think he did because he worked for the Alligator. Yeah. But anyway, his first job was covering the Gators for the Miami Herald and stuff. And he's really good. I like him a lot. He's been around. He's young, but he's been around. But he wrote a column, and I don't disagree with it. I'm not saying I agree with it. Is that possible? Can those two things be true? I don't necessarily agree with it, but I kind of agree with it. Anyway, his point was get rid of everybody. Just clean house. Strickland, Napier, all the coaches, just clean house. And that's easy for him to say. He's not sitting there making $40,000 a year, and now he's going to be without a job. So, well, and maybe that's what he makes. I don't know. But anyway, it was a good column, and like I said, I don't disagree with the column. Something has got to change over at that school. Something's got to change, man. I don't know what in the world is going on. Every day it's like something negative comes out. I'm not blaming Ben Sass for it. He was a part of it. I'm not blaming Kent Fox, certainly. I'm not even blaming Scott Strickland. Scott Strickland has done so many good things at Florida, but he's not been good at hiring football coaches. Napier looked like a slam dunk. Mullen looked like a slam dunk. They banged off the rim, both of them. It was like they were embarrassed. And I think it led to layups at the other end, considering Florida's defense. But it's where we are. Let's get to number 4 and on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5. Now, I may be the only person who believes this, okay, who feels this. And I'll talk with Coach Spurrier about it a little bit later, too. But I got a little ticked off when Emmitt Smith was doing the picking for the SEC Nation, and he wore a black shirt, not anything Gator, and picked Texas A&M. Now, was he right? Absolutely, he was right. However, I had a little bit of a problem with it. You're Mr. Two-Bits that day. Your name is up on the wall, above the wall. You're in the Ring of Honor despite never having good teams. Usually you have to be on good teams to get in any kind of honors. You never had good teams. You were great. I know that. Emmitt and I have had a problem for a long time. And that, to me, was just it's about me. It's not about Florida. Emmitt does not give a rat's behind about the University of Florida. Never has, never will. Let him go. I'm not saying take the sign off. It wouldn't bother me, though. Not just because of this incident. I don't think he should have been up there in the first place. Emmitt Smith at Florida did nothing to help Florida win games. What are you talking about? He ran all over people. He did all these things. Did you see that 90-yard run against Mississippi State? Yeah, I was there. They lost that game, I think. The point is, Lomas Brown belongs on that wall. Carlos Alvarez belongs on that wall. Alex Brown belongs on that wall. I'm not saying take Emmitt down, but let's get a little less restrictive on that wall. That's all I'm saying. But if you want to take him down, I ain't going to complain. That's all I'm saying. All right, finally, number 5 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club, starting 5. Wow, FSU's 0-3. I did not see that coming. No, I was hoping they might lose one of those 3 games, but not all of them. And, Memphis was better than them, and as was Boston College, as was Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech stinks. They're not any good. So, it's like Georgia Tech beat FSU. The next week they got killed, fell out of the top 25. Boston College beat FSU. The next week they got beat by Missouri. And they probably shouldn't have fallen out of the top 25, but they did. It's pretty amazing. Meanwhile, the LSU-South Carolina game, South Carolina blows a 17-0 lead. They lose their quarterback, Lenoris Sellers. And that just changed the whole game. LSU is so lucky to have won that game. He was really good, and it was fun to watch that game until all that happened. So there was a lot of stuff going on in college. There was not a lot of great games. I think that night, we were just begging for good games because there was nothing to watch. Georgia-Kentucky ended up being really good, which, what wasn't good? Florida and Texas A&M. That was a really bad game. All right, that's going to do it for our starting 5, brought to you by the Gainesville Quarterback Club, where Caleb Sturgis will be speaking on Tuesday night, tomorrow night, and make sure you become a member and get over there and have fun. It was interesting last week because I think people didn't show up because Jimbo was speaking, and then Jimbo didn't speak, and they missed out on my 30-minute segment. But there was still a lot of people there. It just wasn't the usual crowd. But I think they'll be there for Caleb. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And it's a great club to be a member of. You get free food, free drinks, and, well, not free drinks, but I'll buy you one. If you join, I'll buy you a drink. How about that? How much would that be? Okay. All right. We'll be back with more, and we'll be back with Coach Spurrier. Well, I can't wait to hear what he has to say. And, of course, after him, the great Robbie Andreu, and I know what he's going to say because I got it all in text messages all weekend. All right. We'll be back with more of another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Gator fans, football season is here. What's better than seeing the Gators back on the field? Easy. Seeing amazing speakers and fellow Gator fans weekly at the Gainesville Quarterback Club. Held every Tuesday night of a home game at the Best Western Gateway Grand. Enjoy happy hour, great food, valuable insights from yours truly and Andy Staples, plus notable speakers throughout the season. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you access to elite speakers like coaches, NCAA football insiders, Gator greats, and more. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-season meetings, home tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org or visit thequarterbackclub.org. Or better yet, just give me a call and I'll get you to the right people.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Fight Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Okay, welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Meldon Law, also the sponsor of appearances by the HBC, who's now being connected to the Florida job by fans. No. Oh, we want Spurrier to be the interim coach. I'm like, so you're going to have to change all your play calls? And
Yeah, the thing about it, I mean, we're 1-2. Yeah. We're 1-2 in both home losses, but I think A&M's going to have a good season, very good. And now we know Miami could go 12-0 over there.
They could.
So, I mean, we haven't played great, but we're 1-2. We've only played 3 games. Teams can change. One guy named William James said the greatest discovery of our generation is that a person or a company or a team can alter their life with a change in attitude. And we need a change in attitude. Yep. I've had teams that started pretty lousy, and we got a change in attitude and had winning seasons.
Well, 92 was 1-2.
92, we're 1-2. We got clobbered at Mississippi State, came back, made a few changes, put a freshman offensive tackle in, Jason Odom, which just sort of cured the offense. And the defense made a few changes and got some life. And that's what we need to do with this team. I don't know what Billy's going to do, but our effort level, our assignment level, guys gotta want to play as hard as they can, the best and as smart as they can.
They do.
And I think that's what frustrates the fans so much right now. When a tight end runs down the middle, nobody within 15 yards of him, he throws it behind him, he still throws a touchdown. You know, you have those breakdowns like that. We got to coach better and play better. But somehow or another they can change it, and we'll find out. We are favored at Mississippi State.
I was stunned by that, to be honest with you.
Well, they got beat by Toledo last
Yeah.
week, and they got beat at Arizona, I think, the week
State,
before,
yeah.
Arizona State.
Yeah.
So they're like us. They're
But that
1-2.
game was a tight game on the road. And then I was stunned by that Toledo score. Yeah.
But we need to get going. We need to get some motivation. Coaches need to start yelling and screaming on the sideline. I've said that, but I don't see anybody yelling and screaming too much. But just make it important, man. Make it important to go beat Mississippi State and see if we can't turn this season around. And another thing I noticed, it was in the media flyer they send around every week.
Yeah.
We have 55 new players on this team. Do you know that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You know how many we had last year? We had 49. That's over 100 new players in 2 years. Now, I don't know how many of those 49 are still on the team or not.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, that's what the way.
guys
I
come and
know
go.
it's kind of the new football, but it doesn't have to be the new football. No, you don't
Yeah.
have to be building it always with new players. And I think we thought that because Florida had some older players this year, they would do better. But and again, I'm like you. I believe you should let Billy run this
I agree.
out for a while.
Let's
I'm
let
not
him run
saying
season.
the whole season. I'm just saying let it run out for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Let
they go
him-
and beat
give him a
Mississippi
chance.
State. Maybe
Yeah.
they go and beat UCF. Maybe they beat
That's right.
Kentucky at home. Now you're sitting there and you go, okay,
Heck
this will
yeah.
be different.
Heck yeah. I mean, everybody's under contract. Let them earn their pay and keep them all here, and let's go. See if they can turn it around, see how important it is to win a game. And I think we'll find out a lot this week and then go from there.
Some of your other teams, I wanted to talk about South Carolina, which was brutal loss there. That they had 2 pick sixes called back. I mean, that is, you finally get guys to do exactly
It was
what you
something.
want them to do.
Yeah, that was an interesting call. Roughing, unnecessary roughness.
Yeah.
When he just pushed the quarterback, he should have just screened him off, I guess. That's sort of what they tell you now. On punt returns, instead of blindside
Right,
block,
right.
just screen them off. And really, that is as good as a block because they have to run around you or whatever. But that took away a 100-yard interception. But it seemed like they could have made about 10 or 12 more yards, and that last field goal would not have been a 49-yarder.
Yep.
But anyway, the kid is a great kicker, and he hit it. Looked like it was going to go in, and it just died left a
I
little
know,
bit.
it just stayed there, and I was like,
So,
cut.
but it was a big win for LSU. They're still in the hunt for everything,
Yeah.
and that was a tough one for the Gamecocks.
It was.
And then Kentucky had a chance to beat Georgia.
I know.
They had a great chance. But they had to kick all those dang field goals most of the
That
time.
reminded me of the Sugar Bowl '91.
Most of the time, you kick a whole bunch of field goals and no touchdowns. And Georgia only had 1 touchdown,
Yeah.
and that's all they needed, 13-12. So
Yeah, now I'm kind of curious what to think about Georgia, but I do know that every team has a game like that, you know, especially early in the season where
do.
they struggle a little bit and they find, but the good ones win that game.
they did find a way to win.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of like the Chiefs found a way to win on Sunday.
that was pure luck. Now, my golly, jump ball, interference. They both went at the same time. I agree. The defensive guy hit him a little early, and but what was that, about a 30-yard gain, and then their guy makes a 51-yard field goal to win it. But that's just good fortune. You just say thank you, Lord, and get ready for the next game when those things happen.
Well, and that's the thing I also think about with this Florida team. They could use some luck, and I can't remember anything lucky that has happened for Florida
This
in
year.
about 5 or 6 years. I mean, they could just use some breaks, like tip balls, like A&M got that tip ball interception for a touchdown.
Yeah, we definitely have not been very good. In fact, you know what our road record is in the last 18 games on the road?
2-16.
2-16.
I get. Oh, that was a good
amazing?
guess. I could only think of 2 wins.
1-1 at Texas A&M. What
That's
was
right.
the other one? I was at that one.
The other one
That's the only one I
was-
remember.
Well, one Vanderbilt. 'cause they
One
lost up
Vandy.
there.
Couldn't beat them there.
There was the at Carolina where Ricky Pearsall got.
Oh, that's right. Pearsall.
Oh,
made a
that
great
was
catch.
that
Yeah,
one. At
yeah.
South
Because
Carolina.
of course it was. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So we have 2 in
Or
the last
poor
3
Zach
years.
has to deal with the South Carolina losing.
Yep.
But so they lost twice this weekend, right? No, I'm just kidding. But I mean that's not good. There's a lot of look. There's no stat you can give that will make anybody feel better about what's going on here right now. And if the stat is, they've donated this much time to helping, okay, that's great. I love all that stuff. You can do that and be a good football team. You had guys doing charitable stuff when you were a coach here and be a good football team. They don't have to be dissimilar. They can be the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But I think we just need to, show a little patience and see what can happen from this year. I mean, all the coaches are going to be there, even if the head coach isn't. So I don't see how it's going to make a huge difference if they remove the head coach.
You can't get a head coach right now.
So you might as well, I think, let the staff stay in place for a while and let's see what happens. We've only had 3 games.
Yeah.
The 2 losses are against 2 good teams.
They're both ranked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Elko was luckily his starter got hurt, and the other kid is a much better player.
I would have much rather faced Connor Wegg.
My grandson, is a assistant quarterback coach at A&M.
Oh, is he?
And his fiance, she was happy that backup quarterback got in there instead of the one that was the starter the first game. So maybe they've learned a lot their 3rd game of the year also.
Well, maybe you tell me what you would do in this same situation, okay? Your son is playing for Texas A&M. Playing for Texas A&M.
Oh, like Emmitt's son?
Yeah. You are in the Ring of Honor. Your name is up on the building. You were Mr. Two-Bits that day, and you picked Texas A&M. That bothered me. I don't know that it bothers anybody but me. But I may be the only one. I would have rather him say, "Hey, look, my son plays for one school. I went to the other one. I'm not making.
Not going to make the pick." Yeah. His son's a pretty good player. I think
he wasn't bad. He had 2 nice runs there. Yeah,
had a couple of nice runs. Number 22. But he made it known that he was pulling for his son.
Yeah.
And of course, he had some issues with that DEI stuff that came out back when President Sass used to be here. By the way, he had the headlines again today about how much money he'd spent on entertainment.
Well,
so we've had our issues here in Florida.
Yeah, it needs
not only football.
It needs to like everything goes in cycles in life, and Florida's like in a down cycle right now. It needs to come up. I mean, I know Dr. Fox will do a great job, and they need to make a good hire this time for the. I mean, they need to make a good hire at president. If they have to make a hire at AD, they have to make a hire. I love Scott Strickland, you know that. And if they have to make a hire at coach, I mean, this is part of life, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Fortunately, most all of our other sports are doing pretty well. I know. Most of them are doing very well.
What would you think about that if you had an AD for football and an AD for everything else?
Perfectly legal. Perfectly legal to do that.
And that way,
nobody does
one guy would only have to worry about that one thing.
Oversee football. Yeah.
And then this other guy would do everything else, and Florida's already, the infrastructure's there, everything's ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mouse Holloway, Anthony Nesty, Jen Rowland.
That's my ID, man.
We're set. Just about all the other sports have done very well. Just about all of them.
All right, so obviously in other college games, we saw a lot of weird things happen this week. FSU 0-3. I don't think anybody saw that coming. And have been double digits favorites in all 3 games.
Yeah, they have got a lot of issues up there. And, of course, their quarterback getting big money.
Yep.
I'm telling you, when one guy gets big money and the team loses, the attitude on the team, it's not good.
Yeah,
it's just not good. So I think that's what they're going through up there. If they can win a game or 2, maybe they can get back and everybody love each other. But teams got to, they got to love each other. Players, all of them, they got to get along. Hey, and that's what I hope would happen at the beginning, and it did. The first year I was here, we had senior leadership, and then they passed it down to the juniors and sophomores, and they just pass it every year. They know how to lead the team, so I don't see us having that on this team.
Well, and that's the thing. I believe to be a really special team, you've got to have talent. You've got to have coaching. You've got to have camaraderie. They have to care for each other. And if you don't have any one of those elements, you'll probably be an 8-4, 9-3 team. If you don't have any of those elements, you're going to be 3-8. But if you have all those elements together, and you're coached well, you can play for a national championship. So I mean, but you can't have one missing. You can't have a hole there.
Yep, you do have to have all of it going together, and home field we've learned is not the answer.
No, it
The
isn't.
swamp ain't the swamp it used to be.
But
And that's got to do with
the fans have
way-
been there. They
That's
showed
right.
up.
You can't
They-
blame the fans.
And they
The
showed up
fans
and
are
they
there.
stayed through a lightning delay that was kind of phony,
Yeah.
but they stayed in the rain and they stayed
Yeah.
and,
No,
and they
it-
just want something. Want to see something fun.
No, they've done their part.
Yeah.
Nobody's criticizing them for not showing up, and their patience has been stretched. And a win or two, and we can get
Yep.
back like we used to be, and go from there. But yeah, it's a crucial game this week. That's what I'm saying. Crucial game
It
for
is.
maybe the direction of the season. But I still think they need to give Napier. I mean, they gave him a 7-year contract. Might as well give him 3.
Yeah.
3 if you can.
Yeah.
But there's going to have to be some decisions on how we finish record-wise.
Yeah, no,
Definitely.
and that's going to have a lot to
And
do
you-
with it. Absolutely.
We both agree. Yeah, we agree.
And obviously, your son coached at Mississippi State, so you know that program pretty well. I mean, they made a bad hire with Zach Arnett, but that didn't work out. But Jeff Lebby's a pretty good coach.
Yeah, I think he's a good offensive coach. They have struggled the last 2
Yeah.
games and lost, but they'll be ready. They're first year there. They'll be pumped up and ready to go.
Now, when you went to games there, did you have to wear headphones so you didn't have to hear the cowbells? Or
I tell you, I did do like that when they started ringing them. They can ring them as long as the other team's not
Yeah.
at the line of scrimmage. They're pretty good about being quiet. When
Scott-
the quarterback's talking.
Scott Strickland had warned me. He said, not only do you have the cowbells, he goes, all the sound goes right into the press box.
Is that
All the
right?
music, all the PA. So Robbie and I both wore headsets the whole time. We don't want to hear any of that when they went there.
Yeah.
In Starkville. You did not have a very good luck in Starkville, as you know.
0-2. 0-2. But they were both turnaround games.
Yeah, they were.
They were turnaround games. We got beat Shane's year of 92 and came back and won all the conference games after that. I think we won 6 in a row.
Was that the
And
one
then-
where Jackie Sherrill came over and said, I'll
That's
see you,
2000.
see you in Atlanta?
That was in
Oh,
2000.
2000? See you in
2000.
Atlanta.
They give you that quick story. They ran for like almost 400 yards, 395 or something. And we actually had 3 quarterbacks throw for over 100 yards in that game. We got way behind, and Jesse got hurt, Rex got hurt, Brock Berlin finished it up, and we got beat about 49-35 or something like that.
I think the goalpost came down that game.
Oh, they
Right.
stormed the
Yeah,
field.
yeah.
In fact, one of our ball boys,
Oh, yeah, he got
managers,
hit, yeah.
he got hit and dazed him, knocked him out a little bit. So next year, Mississippi State came to the Swamp, and we beat them 52-0.
Yep.
And we scored 1 at the end. And I told our manager that last one was for you, and gave him a game ball. He got a game ball in the locker
Wow.
room. Our student manager did that. Sort of got dazed up there. But yeah, I'm 0-2 at Starkville, and South Carolina was 2-0 there. And I don't know what that means, but that's the way it happened.
I remember when you guys killed them the next year because their quarterback Wayne Macklin was his name, and I interviewed him at SEC Media Days, and he's like, "The Swamp's nothing. We'll go there. We're fine."
Yeah.
And so I made sure that was in big headlines, and then Jeremy got them to play "Who Shut the Dogs Out" on the big screen after the game, which was another shot.
But
at it.
after we got clobbered there, we came back, and our defense, we had a little talk
Yeah.
about, when you come to the dance, you're supposed to dance, don't sit around and watch. And that was sort of a little motto we carried. And we won all of our conference games the rest of the year.
Right.
And won the SEC against Auburn. So sometimes a loss can help turn you around, and sometimes it can. But somebody's
Sometimes
got
it
to take
doesn't.
charge,
Yeah.
Somebody's got to show some leadership ability. Maybe not only just the coach, but some of the guys on the team. But the trouble is you got new players every year. You don't get that consistency of how to become a leader.
You have that, and you also have, look,
Yeah.
a head coach's personality is going to be reflected in his assistant coaches. And as you know, Billy is very low key and it's not real out there and screaming and yelling. And I think I think they need that right now. They need somebody to come in there and just scream at them and play better. I mean, that's the main thing, Coach. Play better.
Yeah. They need somebody to get on the players, and the players get on the other players.
Yep,
Just like the year at Duke that we won the ACC, our starting center, he told the right guard, who wasn't playing very well, he thought during the game, said, "I'm going to kick your butt if you don't start playing better." And he started playing better. When a player tells a teammate,
Oh, yeah.
you got to start playing, man, that means people care.
Absolutely.
And that spreads throughout the team when that happens.
All right, Coach, you got anything else today?
I think that's pretty much it.
There weren't a lot of good games this weekend.
No, it was
Yeah.
a low impact. A lot of good ones this coming week. I think Oklahoma and
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah, the Vols
Heupel's return to Oklahoma.
The Vols are looking good, but again, they haven't played a
played
tough
anybody,
schedule.
yeah.
They played NC State that people thought was going to be good, but they can't score many points. But anyway, I think that's about it.
Okay.
And we gotta get ready for Mississippi State.
Yep. I will say
Hopefully we get
this.
us a win.
If you're going to Starkville, don't go to Starkville in the first place because there's nowhere to stay. But there's a place in Columbus, Mississippi. It's a steak place, and you have to find it. It's the only way. It's not like it's advertised. It's a private place. It's a little shack. It's unbelievable. You have the best steak you'll ever have.
Columbus.
That's my advice for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it is time for our new segment that we've been doing here. It's called Moving On Up, and it's, of course, brought to you by Ox Strong Moving Company. We appreciate them, Zach and the people over there, for being a sponsor this year. And here's who's moving on up. And you know who's moving on up, Coach? Texas, who's number one now instead of Georgia. So they're number one. Also, Texas A&M is now ranked.
Sure.
Number 25. Boston College out of the rankings. They were in there, and then they're out. So everybody that's beaten FSU has dropped out of the rankings.
Yeah.
The next week.
They had a chance to beat Missouri.
They did.
Played a good game.
Played good.
Lost
I don't
by
even know
6.
that they should be taken out of the rankings. I thought they.
No, because Missouri's in the top 10.
I know.
Yeah.
They played a great game. Also, I did want to mention the Steelers, who are 2-0. I didn't see that coming. Justin Fields is 2-0, which I never saw that coming.
Yeah, defense.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Moving down the San Diego Chargers are moving up as well. And moving down, the Houston Astros have lost 4 straight games, and now they are 4.5 games out of first. So those are the movers presented by Ox Strong Movie Company. We'll be back with more of another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios right after this break.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great. Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Always great on Mondays, not only to have Coach Spurrier on, but to have the great Robbie Andreu on. He is brought to you on the Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line by Big Mills Cheesesteak, street dining done the right way. Go in there and say you want French fries with your order because you listen to another Dooley Noted podcast, and they'll give them to you for free. Okay, so that's a cool deal. All right, Robert, you have any explanation for that mess yesterday or
What
Saturday?
Mess. I have none, Pat. The defense has gotten worse over the 3 years he's been here, and I mean,
And it was bad before.
Yeah, but you know what, Pat? You look at the schedule coming up; it's only going to get worse. I mean, what is Tennessee going to put 60 on them? Georgia's going to put 50 on them. I think Central Florida's going to put 40, high 40s on them. It's unbelievable. They can't tackle. They're out of position. They play with no emotion, no fire. It's unbelievable.
How do you really feel about it, though?
But the thing is, the crowds have been great too, Pat.
No, I know.
There's no reason not to be fired up to play in those games.
That's actually something I'm trying to look to see which one of my segments it is. But I was going to talk about the crowd because the crowd. I mean, the people are showing up for games, and they stayed through a stupid lightning delay where there was no lightning in the area, and stayed during the rain. And I mean, but they just they want it to be good, but wanting it is not good enough sometimes.
No, it's not. They're not good enough, Pat. Not gonna cut it.
All right, it is time for you to play Yes, No, Where, Maybe, brought to you by Big Mill's Cheesesteak. And number one, Robbie, if you would bet the under if somebody told you the new over-under with Florida is 3 wins.
I would definitely vote the under, Pat. Yes. I mean, I don't see them winning another game. I mean,
I don't either.
Mississippi State, maybe, but on the road they've been terrible under Napier. So they lose that game. Done, and I think people thought maybe UCF, but they've got a great offense, so no, that's not going to be a win either. So,
yeah, if you've got a good offense, Florida can't beat you. They can't beat you.
You can't. Yeah. No, because Florida can't outscore anybody.
No.
But yeah, I mean, Pat,
they can win games 30 to 28. They can win games that way, but once you get over the 30, they're done. Yeah.
Yeah, you're done.
I think you're right. I think 111 is on the table.
Yeah. It reminds me of 0-10-1, but that came in Pell's first year. This is the third year, and they're going to go 1-11 maybe. That's just unbelievable.
That team lost its starting quarterback, who's the only decent quarterback in the second game, and Scott Brantley in the second game for the year, and still played close games. I know people want to say, and we filled the stadium. You didn't fill the stadium. I looked up the stats. You didn't even come close to filling it. But
they did compete at least. I mean, this team's not competing worth a darn.
Maybe it's time to give them socks with holes in them and give them and say, "Hey guys, you're not getting your Gator jersey." He should go. He should pull a Urban Meyer right now. You're not practicing in Gator stuff. Whatever you bring from home is what you're. He could do that. He could. I mean, something's got to work with these guys. I don't know what it is.
Because they're not motivated right now. It doesn't seem to be.
Well, you know what? Some teams are going to react to NIL differently than others.
Yeah.
Some teams are going to take it and go, hey, this is an opportunity to make a lot more money and be really good on the field. And some are going to go, oh, I'm set now, man. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, some are going to say, I don't care what happens now. I'm getting paid. It doesn't matter what happens on the field. I'm getting paid.
Yep.
So.
All right, Robbie, we go to number 2, and this is a rare video daily double. We're going to show you a play that I know you enjoyed yesterday, and it was but I want you to watch the referee on this play because it's highlighted for you here.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Pretty good movement there. I know.
He was running with Justin Jefferson backward.
I know. That was to me and this is why it is our Campus USA play of the weekend. Is that play not only you get a 97-yard touchdown pass, but the referee's right there with him.
I know. And who is the wide receiver that comes down to block? He's flying. Look at that.
I know. It was definitely the play of the weekend of anything I saw. I didn't see anything in the Florida game that was play of the weekend.
No.
All right.
And the Vikings are 2-0, so I'm excited.
So the question I have for you, though, on Yes, No, Where, Maybe, is that worthy of play of the weekend?
Oh, absolutely, Pat. I mean, how many times do you see a 97-yard touchdown run or pass play like that?
Yeah.
With the referee running.
Appleby to Cleveland.
Yeah.
That referee wasn't running with anybody, though. He just was like, I think you got a touchdown. I can't get down there. All right, finally, Robbie, I'm coming at you hard right here, okay? On
Okay.
yes, no, where, maybe our final question. Billy Napier is the coach at Florida for the Georgia game this year.
Maybe, Pat, but I don't think he'll last after that. Because I think that Georgia's going to put a big number on him. And remember, McElwain got canned after Georgia,
Yeah.
so I think that he'll be done after that. I mean, there's no way he's going to make it through the season now.
Well, that's the other thing.
I don't see it.
I mean, it's Mississippi State this week, and it's an
Yeah.
open week next week. Kind of like Zook, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Pat, if they go out there and get beat 41-10 in the open date, I think that they
Done.
may have to go ahead
Done.
and make the move then.
Get it done. I mean, and I don't want to ever hear this argument. Well, it's not fair to our seniors. Your seniors are getting paid. It's all right. They're fine. They're going to be okay. They're not paying for anything in their lives. They'll be fine. And you just got to make this. And if you want to make it, then fine. You're not going. It's not going to get you a head start, but at least you can kind of get the Jimmy Sexton train going in one direction or another.
Get the process going. You're right.
And Florida's got to hit
whatever his plan is, Pat, it's just not working. In year 3, you should see progress. There's none. There's regression, which is shocking.
I had this stat earlier, Rob. His record against Division I, what we would call FBS teams right now, 9-16.
Oh my gosh!
He's got a chance this year to catch Bear Wolf as the losingest coach of all time at Florida.
But he's definitely going to go down as the worst coach in Florida football history. I mean, look at his record.
Hey, numbers don't lie. Scared money don't make money, but numbers don't lie.
Yeah, they don't lie. They don't.
But hey, look, who knows what? Maybe this week. I mean, Mississippi State's not good. Maybe they get a win this week, and maybe they beat UCF. They find a way to do it at home, and then they it could be Kentucky. Kentucky's not anything special this year, obviously. And
they did play Georgia tough the other night.
They did, but they can't score. So they're 4-2 at that point. And then that's why I would not make this move now. That's why I would let him coach those games, see where they are, 4-2, and then you go and you start to play the gauntlet. And if it starts going bad, you go, okay, that's enough. That's enough of that.
Yeah, but I just don't see 4-2, Pat. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I do see it. I see a possibility for it. I'm trying to be optimistic.
There's a path to 4-2, but I just don't see it happening.
By the way, I spent the entire Saturday night in my office. As you know, I got the 3 TVs set up in there with Frank and Kelly because Karen went to bed, and we were just pounding vodka the whole time. And
nice.
there was a lot of really interesting conversation that I wish I could remember, but none.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that on tape. That'd be great.
It was bad. It was bad. All right, Robbie, we'll let you go.
Thanks, Pat. Tough times, my friend.
Yep, it is. Thanks, buddy. Okay, as always, thanks to Robbie for coming on. We always love his take on things. Robbie and I love to just text back and forth, and sometimes it's pretty funny, but sometimes it's kind of cruel to just say that during a game like that. All right, let's get to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Of course, we always love Hesser and Kipke, a Gainesville firm here for your needs in family law or workers' compensation. Call or text Ken and Jennifer 24/7 at 352-339-9920. Hesser and Kipke, nearly 50 years of combined legal experience and about to celebrate their 5th anniversary in January. Hesser and Kipke. We love Hesser and Kipke. Let's get to 3 things in them. Number 1, what's going on with the Ravens? 0-2. Wow. Didn't see that coming. And maybe Lamar Jackson needs to put on some weight. I mean, he lost all that weight, and he looked amazing. I watched that game, the first game they played. He looked great. He was moving around great. And, of course, they lost. So maybe they just don't have all the tools. But they're obviously, for them to be 0-2 is a big surprise. Also, the Chiefs just always find a way to win a game. I watched the game the other day. Unfortunately for them, Pacheco now is out. He's maybe out for like several weeks. That wasn't good. And then the Cowboys getting killed in the NFL. I never see that coming. And that was at home, right?
It was.
Yeah, against the Saints. Saints, man, maybe I should become a Saints fan. But that was an interesting day in the NFL. Interesting tonight, too. I know Ken will be watching when his Eagles are playing. All right, number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. I don't wear ties very often. Weddings and funerals, that's pretty much it. I used to wear a tie when I came to work here at the Gainesville Sun in 1987 because I thought it would look suave. And then Noel Nash made me wear a tie when I was trying to get the columnist job. It didn't work. I still got it, though. Anyway, the point is, if you want a tie, if you need a tie, and like Zach over here is wearing a Hawaiian shirt, but he needs a tie. You know, I know how to get you one. Go talk to Samantha Bohan, the soccer coach at the University of Florida. Their record after their game Sunday is now 3-1-4. So they are the tie queens. Like, she's got them playing great defense. They have no scoring power. They tied Florida Gulf Coast this week 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, whatever you want to call it. But they just got to get somebody like a Fotopoulos or people like that to come in here and get. Obviously, she's coaching well because they're not, like I said, 3-1-4 is over 500 by any count, and you do get points for ties in the SEC race. So anyway, you want a tie? Go see Samantha. She should do a commercial for a tie company. All right, let's get to number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. You may have seen this. Heliot, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, Heliot Ramos, never heard of him in my life, hit the first ball ever into McCovey Cove as a right-handed batter. Now, I think it's like 170 people have hit it left-handed. Barry Bonds with 109 of them probably. But now, nobody'd ever hit it right-handed, so you got to obviously hit it opposite way, and it's I think it's 395 to get it in the water. And that's what he did. So we've never heard of him, but he is now the first to do something. Heliot Ramos, home run into McCovey Cove. Well, good for you. All right, let's move along to our Wendig Realtors Delightful Dozen. We're going to give you the 12 teams I would put in the playoff today. And it's brought to you, of course, by Wendig Realtors. Christine and Steve do a great job over there for Boss Hart, and we appreciate them for being a sponsor on this podcast. Here's what I would look like. I've had Texas number 1 all along, right? So I'm not moving anybody up. I've had them there all the time. I still have Georgia 2. I have Utah 3. I think Utah is really good. Tennessee 4. So that's a different top 4. Miami 5, USC 6, Ohio State 7. I need to see Ohio State really have a game where I just feel really good about them. But they can easily move up into the top 4. Alabama 8. Alabama, I should probably have them higher for going up there and spanking Wisconsin, but whiskey's no good. It's not good for anybody, but it's not good football. So Alabama, I just still not. I mean, the USF game, I can't wash out of my mouth and everything. Oregon 9. They've been weird this year, but they're okay. 10 Missouri, which almost lost but did not lose. 11 my Northern Illinois. Is it Salukis? Is that what they are? I think they are. Northern Illinois Salukis. We'll say they are. Anyway, that's number 11, and then 12 Penn State. So if that is the way it ended right now, we would have 3 SEC teams would bye, and then 2 others in the link. So I'm going to be biased towards that. I live in the South. It's the bowl I like the most. But that is our delightful dozen brought to you by Wendig Realtors. We appreciate Christine and Steve for being a part of that and for being a sponsor. Let's move to our Adams Ribco Gator of the Weekend. Okay, now, stay with me on this, okay? My Gator of the Weekend, brought to you by Adams Rib Company, are the fans, especially those of you who stayed for the whole game. Look, you had a rain delay. It wasn't rain. It was lightning, and the lightning it was within 8 miles. It's a law. You have to do that. But there was no lightning around the stadium. You had a lightning delay, 47 minutes. You had to sit through rain. You had to sit through I almost said the word. I think I can say the word, though. This is like cable TV, right? I can say shoddy football. I'll just put it that way. It was shoddy football, just bad football, losing again, booing your coach. But you showed up, man. You showed up, and you guys keep showing up. Look, Gator Nation, and I saw somebody text this. I think her name is Jen, Jenn. I follow her on Twitter. She's a really interesting person. And she said, no, you know who it was? I think it was, it was one or the other. I think it might have been Allie Peak Wilbur. I think she might have said it. But how the fans showed up and stayed till the end, it's not a toxic fan base. This fan base has been given a lot of toxicities. I can't say that word. Toxicity. Toxic crap. I'll leave it at. They've been handed a lot of toxic crap over the last 2 decades. And that's why they get mad, and that's why they call shows like they'll call our show today and be mad and yelling and want everybody fired. It's not the fans that are toxic. They just haven't been able to figure things out. They just haven't. It's not the fans' fault. I'm not blaming them. You can say, oh, everybody complains and they want everybody fired. That's not why guys get fired. They don't get fired because of the fans. They get fired because the fans quit showing up for games, but you're showing up for them. And I'm not saying don't show up anymore. I think you're getting my point. You are great fans. Don't think you're not. And I'm giving you the Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. All of you. It comes in little tiny compartments now. Anyway, I'm just kidding. All right, so thank you for being there and being good fans. Let's move along to our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick picks. And love our Leonardo's. Love our, get the duels out there, man. The chicken parm. You cannot go wrong with that chicken parm sandwich. I'm telling you that. We're going to give you the game from Thursday night to pick. We'll probably the end of the month, we'll do another drawing. I know that Todd got his last one. South Alabama is at Appalachian State. Appalachian State is favored by 7.5 points. Pick a winner. That's all you got to do. Appalachian State is the coolest football stadium. I love that stadium there. It's really down in the mountains. It's really nice. Okay, so that is it for the Leonardo's at Millhopper's quick pick. South Alabama at Appalachian State. Appalachian State is giving 7.5. And there it is. Let's move along to our Swamp Games of the Week. We've got a few. There's a lot going on this week. Monday night, tonight you have the game. Atlanta, Philadelphia, Monday Night Football, 8:15 on ESPN. On Tuesday night, volleyball making an appearance on ESPN against Florida State. I don't like their chances considering they're really struggling. And, of course, they lost 3-0 to Georgia Tech earlier this year or last week. They're trying to get their 2 best players are out. And they got to get them healthy. If they can get them back, they'll be okay. They'll be fine. But they do have that match Tuesday against Florida State, 7 o'clock on ESPN if you want to watch it. And then Thursday, also, Florida is playing Kentucky, which is undefeated in soccer. Yes, they start conference play. Boy, I should have written that down. Soccer, 8-0 Kentucky, 7:30, and it's on the Plus if you want to watch it. That'll be cool. Also Thursday night, Patriots at the Jets, 8:15 on Prime Video. So there is your Swamp Games of the weekend. We were out there on Thursday and had a great time out there. Ran into Brandon Spikes, ran into Chris Doring. Just had a blast out at the Swamp Restaurant doing our tailgate radio show. We do it every Thursday for home games. So we'll be out there again next week if you want to come by and say hello. Appreciate that. Finally, let us go to our Hugh Cain Allstate Mayhem moment. We love our Hugh Cain Allstate Mayhem moments. This is a good one. The Gator Nation is in good hands with local Allstate agent Hugh Cain. Stop by Alachua Marketplace Plaza in Alachua and get a free quote today. Okay, so I didn't see any of this game, but I watched. When I saw this, I go, "This is the Mayhem moment." This guy runs left, runs right. It's gonna be a safety. Somehow he gets away and fires the pass down and gets the first down. This is the 4th down play and gets UCF in position to win the game against Baylor. Unfortunately for UCF, it didn't work out. They still lost. But I thought it was a pretty incredible play. Boom. Great catch, too. That's our Hugh Cain mayhem moment from the weekend. There were a couple other things I could have shown, like pretty much any Florida running play would have been good. All right, that's going to do it for our show. Thanks, as always, to Coach Spurrier, to Robbie Andreu for being here. Thursday, Andy Staples will join us. Of course, great thanks to Zach, who puts up with me and edits all my crap and gets it all straightened out. We appreciate him for doing such a great job. We'll be back with you Thursday. Andy Staples will join us. Who knows what will be happening by then? Ooh. No, nothing's happened. Okay. All right, well, we'll be back with you, and we'll preview the game, and we'll talk about all the other games that are going on and the state of college football. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep. I am way back, and I am out of here.